Hey everyone, happy Friday and welcome to this week's edition of Union Insider presented by Independence Blue Cross. I'm Marisa, joined by two resident club legends, Sebastian and Sheanon Williams. Guys, I hate to point this out, but you guys never called me a legend in return, so it's a little awkward now.
You're more than a legend, I think.
More than a legend.
Yeah, you're our legend.
Okay,
our
good
legend
to know.
of the Union Insider.
Yeah. Well, this weekend was a bit of a mixed bag for the boys in blue. They dropped points at home to Toronto, but the teams around them in the standings were also faltering. So what's your read on the state of the play in the East and how things are shaping up?
I mean, you can see that. I think everybody is really kind of struggling to get points right now. We are close to the end of the season, but the Union just got one, which is enough to keep them on top of the standing and on top of the supporter shield. So still okay. Even if we thought that against Toronto we could have get the 3 points, it was maybe not the best performance of the team. But everything is erased with all the bad results from the other team chasing the Union. So I think right now the spirit is still high for the Union fan, and hopefully we can now get the next game in New York on Saturday and try to get 3 points.
Yeah, Sheanon, still feeling good about how everything's shaping up?
Absolutely. I think obviously you want the 3 points, but you'll take the point, especially it being a tough game at home. Thought that they should have done a better job of looking for that second goal. But again, they're in a good spot and have 8 games left, and they'll hopefully be able to take this to the finish line.
Yeah, so let's jog everybody's memory a little bit. Take a look back at how things played out on Saturday night at Subaru Park against Toronto, a game in which we thought the Union were obviously on paper a much better team than Toronto. This one was poised to be a really good showing for the Union, and things got started off early for the boys in blue.
Yeah, it was a fantastic team goal from the Union after a few minutes with Indy Vasilev finishing the action, but a great movement, passing, moving, and you are really thinking, oh, it's going to be a big game for the Union, lots of goal. But after that, you can see Toronto, I think, making the game a little bit dirty, with a lot of foul. The referee not having a big handle on the game as well, and we were not able, to score the second goal.
Yeah, wasn't able to score that second goal. There was a moment, where there was an offsides look to see if maybe the Union did get that second goal, didn't go their way. But from a defensive point of view, how do you hang on to that 1-0 lead when the opposition is really down your throats?
Yeah, we've seen them lose that lead a couple of times, especially in stoppage time. They did it here again, and they just have to be a little bit cleaner to finish out games, understand where they are in the game and the moment, make sure that they come back, they make sure that they defend and see out the game. They haven't done that to our liking this year. Hopefully they'll continue to get better than that. But you saw that in the game on Wednesday, they were able to then get that late equalizer. So sometimes it goes your way and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, sometimes it's for you and sometimes it's against you. But let's take a look at how that impacted Supporter Shield standings heading into this weekend. So if we take a look at the standings, the Union with a 2-point advantage over San Diego with the same number of games played. Ditto for Cincinnati and Vancouver and Orlando looming. They're all looming there. And then, of course, there's Miami, who would equal the Union on points if they are to win all 3 of their games in hand. So Sheanon, size up this field race for us. Who do you have kind of in your rearview mirror of who the Union should be looking out for?
I think you definitely have to look out for Miami having 3 games in hand. Obviously, those games haven't been played, and you got to go out and win those games. But I think they're going to be heavy favorites in those games. And then, obviously, you'll see where they stand after they get those games in hand played. So it's going to be a tight race to finish out. These last 8 games are going to be crucial, and points are going to be at a premium. So important that you get the tactics right, that you get the business end of the season right, so that you can leave it and go into the playoffs on a good note.
Yeah, Seba, for you, who do you got your eye on?
I mean, what am I on right now? It's in 2 weeks when the Union are going to have a 2 road trip in Cincinnati and then traveling to Vancouver. We saw in a standing, Cincinnati is right behind the Union in the east, Vancouver is right behind San Diego in the west. If you can get 2 positive results on the road, against those 2 big teams, I think it can really show a lot what the Union is all about and making a big push. It's almost like a 6-point games for the title of the Supporter Shield, and at the end too, it'll be very close to the playoffs. So it's a great preparation for Bradley Carnell and his team to kind of put themselves against the big dog in this league this season. And I just want to see if they are able to get two big results away from home when they go to Cincinnati and then to Vancouver on turf away from home. It's going to be very exciting to see those two games.
Yeah, like you said, they had to really measure themselves against the other best teams or great teams in the league. And Sheanon, for you, if you look back at the season from a historical point of view, how would you evaluate the job they've done against some of the best teams in the league so far?
They've done a really good job of responding when times have been tough and responding to adversity, whether that be players being in and out of the lineup due to international duty or injuries or whatnot. I think that they've done a really good job to put together a complete season to this point. Now, obviously, you want to see them carry it across the finish line, but I think they've done such an excellent job of using the full roster to their advantage and helping those guys develop and hopefully be longtime starters and role players for this team.
Now, both of you have experience playing so many years in this league, and as that season schedule is starting to get shorter and shorter, but those playoff aspirations are getting more intense, how do you balance that mentality as a team?
I mean, I think for the Union this season, they're in the driver's seat. They're in the first place. Nobody, and we talk about the first week, expecting them to be here at that point. So I think for them, it's all about looking one game at a time, making sure they try to get points. Of course, the 3 points away, especially when you're away from home, are very important. But then I think what was maybe the weakness this year for the Union, it's every time we play a team with maybe below us, we don't really play at our full level. So I'm really excited to see, the game, like I told you about Cincinnati and Vancouver, because we always, I think, play well, and the team is really getting together when we play those tough games as a team, because we kind of know, even if we are first, we are still the underdog compared to those teams where people are thinking they're going to be finished in front of the Union. So it's all about, being together as a team, especially like one game at a time, like they did, on Wednesday against the Red Bull, winning, the Open Cup to be in the semi-final. Now they have the Red Bull again, 3 days after, to make sure we can get another result against a team of the Red Bull who is really fighting for a place in the last spot in the playoff right now. So it's going to be, pretty dirty, I'm sure, as a game. A lot of fight, a lot of free kicks, and we just need to be able to get the 3 points out of that.
It's interesting what you said, how the Union often play up to the standards of the really great teams in the league. Are you a little more worried about those lower level teams that they have down the stretch in terms of how they'll fit in the standings?
No, I don't think so. It's just because now we are so close to the end, it's so tight in a race. I think every game is going to be in the mind of the players that a win and a 3 points, even if it's against a team with below them, can make a big difference. It's not like they have maybe almost like a new pass of like not getting the 3 points or losing a game against a team with really below them, especially when you play at home. So I feel like they're all going to be, ready mentally, understanding like what is the moment about, and they can, make a big, impact on this season, because they are still, in all the three competition, Open Cup, Supporter Shield, and winning the playoff of the MLS Cup.
It's a nice place to be, especially as September is way closer than I originally anticipated it being. But we're stepping away for just a moment as we head to break. Here's this week's trivia question presented by United Concordia. Mikel Ua's 2 goals against Toronto gave him 36 total regular season goals, tying him for 3rd in team history. Who is he tied with? The answer is later in our show. Union Insider is right back after this. We've been seeing a lot of the Red Bulls recently, too much, one might say. Energy Drink FC was back in Chester this week to finally face off in the U.S. Open Cup after the initial attempt at the game was postponed due to weather on July 9th. Well, there was also some weather on Wednesday night, too, a 2-hour delay to be exact. So, Seba, what did you see energy-wise to start this game for the Union, given that they started with that 2-hour delay?
I think it was, a good, start from the Union, even if they give up, early goal, but then they reacted, very quickly to get the equalizer. It's not easy, to get 2-hour delay, but I think the good thing for the Union and for this game, it's the player didn't come out on the field before the game. They started, warming up when the weather was good, and then went straight to the game. So it's always delicate to deal with a delay like this, but I think they did a good job and they were able to come back twice in this game and then at the end get the final goal in the final minutes by Macania and get the win. It's always a special when you play an Open Cup. There's something happen all the time.
Yeah, something a little different about Open Cup games. They have a little more grit to them. And do you really need any more grit when you're playing the New York Red Bulls?
Yeah, the Red Bulls are obviously one of our biggest rivals, and I thought they did a good job to claw back into this game. This Open Cup has been very elusive for us here in Philadelphia, so they're one step closer. They're going to end up playing Nashville away from home, but this was a great game, it being the last one probably that we'll see in the Open Cup run. So it was had a lot of drama to it. The 90th minute winner from Wetu Macania, who's done a great job stepping up in big moments. I thought they did a great job of managing that game and getting a win.
And Seba, you were there in the stands. What was the emotion in the crowd when that game winner went in?
I mean, I have to say, give all the fans who stayed, in this weather, and it was, pretty electric to see, like, the first, coming back, being down 2-1, get the equalizer, and the first goal by Milan Ilowski, who, just started his counter for the Union, and at the end, on another free kick from Kai Wagner, you see Macania getting the composure into the box and really putting the back of the net, and a big eruption, even if the stadium was not full, but it really felt like, it was something the Union were waiting to get another late winning goals and getting to the next round against Nashville.
Yeah, that crowd reaction is all about the quality, not the quantity. Seba, you know that. And Sheanon, for you, what did you make of the starting 11 that Bradley Carnell rolled out?
Yeah, like I talked about, this is a trophy that this team has been waiting to win, and you could see that he's definitely going for it. He knows the importance, and I think he showed the urgency of the team to win a trophy with the lineup that he put out there. I thought it was a great job to put your strongest lineup out there and give yourself the best chance to move on.
Yeah, what is your prediction for them moving on in this?
I think they have a pretty favorable draw. I think they're a team that matches up well against Nashville. We'll have to see who comes out on the other side between Minnesota and Austin, but I think for us, it's just about getting to the final and then letting that atmosphere take over and hoping that you play your best game once it gets to the finals.
Yeah, and lifting a trophy, that's most important. Well, moving on, she's a local legend known for her ability to pitch. They're two young first-teamers building their legacy with what they're doing on the pitch. It's a collab you never knew you needed until now.
What's up, guys? I'm Monet Davis here at Subaru Park with Frankie Westfield and Quinn Sullivan, and today
we're gonna do some challenges.
Let's do it. First challenge of the day is the touch challenge.
1 touch, 2 touch, and freestyle.
let's go. Action.
Oh yeah. Touch. Oh. Oh. Pure. Next up is the touch and pass challenge. Let's go.
There it is.
Touchdown. Oh, yo. Yeah. Yeah, Quinn, be there. Oh! That's a catch.
For this challenge, we have the cross and finish challenge. Let's go.
What? Hey!
Hey! Oh, go on.
No! It didn't hit the top.
Yeah, it did.
Ah! Boom! Hey!
Oh, you broke it.
All right, guys, that's a wrap for today. Had a lot of fun.
Thanks for watching.
That's a dub.
Time for a hydration break here, but when we return, the guys will fork over the goods on this weekend's matchup against that Red Bulls team. That and more when Union Insider, presented by Independence Blue Cross, continues. We're back with this week's Union Update presented by Torque. New signing Milan Iloski making his Union debut on Saturday against Toronto. The new attacking option for Bradley Carnell will have a big role to play this stretch run as the team looks to secure the Supporters' Shield. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Marisa, there's Seba, there's Sheanon, and it's time now for these guys to focus on tomorrow's opponent, the New York Red Bulls. So that means it's time for Keys to the Match presented by Subaru. Seba, what are you looking forward to as they face the Red Bulls yet again?
I'm going to say, manage the game well, and it's going to be, of course, from the coaching staff and as well from the player. I think, the third game in a week, the second against the Red Bull, we kind of saw a little bit about what the Red Bull is all about. It's all about fighting, making the game dirty. So it's going to be interesting to see first what type of lineup, Bradley is going to come up with, and what type of tactical as well. Is he going to start pressing high? Is he going to wait, for the Red Bull to make the game? Because the Red Bull really need to get a win, if they want to have some hope into the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting to see too as well how the player manages himself. You saw a little bit of little, shove, and talking and fouling, some yellow cards in the game in Open Cup. Is going to go through, that game on Saturday as well. So can we be smart, as a team to stay together, stay focused on what we need to do to get the 3 points, and at the end, play like we saw, from the beginning of the season as a team to make sure that we get the 3 points.
All right, Sheanon, for you?
For me, it's going to be all about the set pieces. I think we saw how dangerous they can be giving up 2 goals. This Red Bull team did in this last game. Can they do that same formula again? Can they use the set pieces to their advantage? This is going to be the second game in 3 days. Legs are going to be a little bit heavy. This is a great way to find a goal in a game and to find 3 points as well.
So given what we saw lineup-wise, selection-wise on Wednesday night, what do you anticipate for tomorrow night?
I think it'll be really similar. I think Red Bull didn't put out probably their strongest lineup, and we'll add some players to that lineup for this game on Saturday. But for the Union, I think they'll do a little bit more of the same, have a couple guys that are out due to suspension. But other than that, I think that it'll be a pretty similar lineup to what we saw on Wednesday.
Seba, for you, what do you hope carries over from Wednesday night's win besides being able to manage that physicality?
I think it was especially more the last 20 minutes of the game. I think for me against the Red Bull, I think we were a little bit sharper into our passing, in the final third with, a lot of movement off the ball. I really enjoy, the new player, Milan Iloski, coming for the second time on, this time in Open Cup, getting his first goal and kind of offering a different type of movement on the left side when he sub for Indiana Vasilev. But then when he went as a forward, you can see that there's a lot of movement off the ball from him. Of course, he still needs to understand, the way defensively, how important it is in Bradley Carnell's, system to be, the first person to press, to come back, which, come, after a couple of games. But I really enjoy, the way that we're able to come back and kind of now get the positive wave to attack this game against the Red Bulls away from home. So can we, play the same way in this game from the start, with the passing, and we saw against Toronto on the first goal after 5 minutes. Can we do the same way and the same passing, between each, Union player offensively to try to be more dangerous in front of the goal?
Can't wait for this one tomorrow night. We're stepping away just one last time. Up next, we'll put a bow on this week's episode. On the other side of the break, Union Insider, presented by Independence Blue Cross, is back in a flash. Back with the answer to this week's Union Trivia question presented by United Concordia. Earlier, we asked you who Mikel Ua was now tied with for third place in team history with 36 regular season goals. The answer, CJ Sapong, who amassed his 36 goals and 123 appearances over 4 seasons with the boys in blue. Final segment here on Union Insider, and Seba and Sheanon are back with me to wrap things up in this week's final whistle topic. In your mind, gentlemen, who has been the team's most valuable substitute this season?
That's tough because, Brady Garner really be rotating his squad, game after game. But I think in the past couple of games, I really, like to see Ua, coming off the bench and what he brings to different aspects, kind of making some runs behind when the team is a little bit tired, taking the space and really doing a good job, finishing. He gave, the winning goal, 2 games ago for the Union. Then, he come on and help as well against the Red Bulls, in Open Cup to get the win. So I really enjoy, him coming off the bench because he gives a different type of forward that maybe Damiani or Baribo are not the same.
All right, of course you picked a forward. Surprise, surprise. Sheanon, for you?
I'm going to follow and pick an attacker like Seba did, and I'm going to go with Milan Ilowski. Even though it's been a short time, came on in that Red Bull game, got himself a goal, and I think he adds something different to this team. I know he can play a little bit out left, he can play up top, so having him be able to play in multiple positions gives you that attacking threat to bring off the bench when you bring on somebody like Michael Ua. I think Milan Ilowski can help this team really add some attacking depth to this rest of the season.
We know who you think has been super important, but who do you need to be very impactful as we head down the stretch off the bench?
Again, I'm going to go with both our pick. I think, we need some offense. When we are at the end of the season, you want to win the game. You don't just want to play for a tie. And I think when you are especially playing away from home, you need something a little bit different, especially when you arrive in the last 25 minutes of the game and maybe it's still a tie game or you are down a goal. You need something different offensively. And those 2 guys, I think Ua and Ilowski, if they are still, starting on the bench, can really bring something different. But it can be the same. If we have a Damiani on the bench or a Baribo, they can bring something different as well. So hopefully it's the case for the Union. We might maybe not need their help. We'll be already in front, but it's great, to kind of like guys have 2 type of different forwards that can, really interchange and make, the team much, efficient offensively to create some opportunities.
You agree, Sheanon?
Yeah, I think it's the business end of the season, and it's going to be about goals. Goals change games, and whether they're chasing a game or whether they're in front, they need to add goals, and that's something that they think they've looked at and really done a good job of bringing in players that can help with in the goal scenarios.
Yeah, that's going to do it for this one. The Union return to action tomorrow night at the New York Red Bulls. For Sheanon and Seba, I'm Marisa, and we'll see you next week.